Read my lips. Ekaladerhan, the son of the last Ogiso Owodo, never went to Ile Ife. His son, Omononya, or Oranmiyan, if you like, never came from Ile Ife to Benin. Ile Ife was not even in existence at this period. Well, now that I've said it, I have to prove it. Well, if you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Ezomo Kakadu. I welcome you to my page. Please stay as we dismantle the British Ile Ife lies.
Thanks for clicking on this channel. Please subscribe to FO's blog history and click on the notification button so that whenever we upload a new video you will be notified. BENIN-ILE IFE relationship. Ekaladerhan, Oduduwa, the son of the last Ogiso, Owodo, never went to Ile Ife, and his son, Oranmiyan, never came from Ile Ife. Ezomo Kakadu has presented another perspective of the BENIN-IFE relationship. Ezomo Kakadu is a prolific historian and researcher who looks at things from a holistic perspective. After much research, he came up with this hypothesis, that Ekaladerhan, which the Yorubas refer to as Oduduwa, didn't go to present-day Ife in Osun state. That the Ile Ife in Osun state was not in existence when Ekaladerhan, Oduduwa, left Benin. He said the main objective of this video is to dismantle the British Ile Ife lies. He started his historical analysis from the early origins of the Benin Empire. According to him, the Edo people have been able to trace their earlier times to the Nikuran wet phase. What the Edo people know as Insinur, that is, the rainy skies. It happened that the set of people who survived this rain and flood happened to have converged on a sort of elevated platform. And this elevated platform is said to have been in the Niger-Benue confluence. I am talking about where the river Niger and the river Benue meet, which is called the Niger-Benue confluence. This place is known to Edo people as Huhel. Pa Edo led the Edo people to this place, built and dedicated a shrine to God Almighty, Osunobwa, to thank him for sparing their lives. Pa Edo had 3 sons, Akar, Elfa, and Emehi. They left Huhel to found other kingdoms. So that was the time Hubini, that is Benin, was founded on the plain of Huborca. Elhinwinidu, represented by a staff, what we Edo people know as Hukuril, was pegged or brought to found Hubini, which will later become the Benin Empire. At the beginning, 31 districts or 31 villages of Hubini were merged together to form a kingdom, and this kingdom was named Ngodo-Migodo, named after its first monarch, Ogiso Ngodo, he stated. He went further to talk about Ekaladerhan, Oduduwa, and how he was banished from Ngodo-Migodo. He was supposed to be killed, but his life was spared. He promised those who spared his life that he was never going to return to the kingdom. He and his party first went to Hugotan village. From Hugotan, they went to other places. It was during their movement that Oranmiyan was given birth to, before they finally settled at Huhel. Huhel, which is also referred to as Ife, is located in the present-day Kogi state. Please sit down and listen to this interesting historical analysis by Ezomo Kakadu.
Read my lips. Ekaladerhan, the son of the last Ogiso Owodo, never went to Ile Ife. His son, Omononya, or Oranmiyan, if you like, never came from Ile Ife to Benin. Ile Ife was not even in existence at this period. Well, now that I've said it, I have to prove it. Well, if you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Ezomo Kakadu. I welcome you to my page. Please stay as we dismantle the British Ile Ife lies. This video is primarily for my people, my Edo people, especially those who are involved in the telling or narration of the history of the Great Benin Empire. And this video is on the BENIN-ILE IFE relationship. You will agree with me that the most controversial part of our history as Edo people is the part that connects us, so to say, to Ile Ife. That is the BENIN-ILE Ife connection. We were meant to understand or believe for a very long time that at a particular point in our history, a particular prince, a prince we were told was ours, our own prince, or Mononya or Oranmiyan, if you like, came from Ile Ife to come and found the second dynasty of our monarchy, that is the Oba dynasty. And these actually gave this Ife-centric elements some undeserved ego, so that for a very long time they've been dragging our own son, our own prince, Omononya, with us, claiming that Oranmiyan was their son and not from Benin Kingdom. You know, all of this did not add up. They never added up. Though I was in the same matrix, let's say a couple of months ago, I believed in this and I even told the story as we were told. But some months ago, I started a research. And you need to understand that the research is not 100% complete. Not 100% complete. And I actually did not want to make this video until I completed the research. But I have deemed this very urgent and important because as we speak, our people are still out there telling these lies of Oranmiyan coming from Ile Ife to the world. So we need to set the record straight. We need to let our people know the truth so that when they are narrating our history as it connects Ile Ife, they know exactly what to say. The Edo people have been able to trace their earliest times to the Nakuran wet phase, the age of the Nakuran wet phase. If this term is strange to you, the Google is your friend. Look up Nakuran wet phase. What the Edo people know as Isonoro, that is the rainy skies. It happened that the set of beings, the set of people who survived this flooding, this rain and flood, happened to have converged in a sort of elevated platform. And this elevated platform is said to have been in the Niger-Benue confluence, around the Niger-Benue confluence. When I say the Niger-Benue confluence, we all know the river Niger and the river Benue. So the part where they meet is what is referred to as the Niger-Benue confluence. So it was around this area that they gathered, they got the elevated platform that they gathered. And this place is known to the Edo people as Uhe. Uhe. It happened also that there was someone, an elder statesman, who happened to have been a sort of leader, and his name was Idu, the one we refer to as Pa Idu. Pa Idu led the people to build and dedicate a shrine to God Almighty, Osanobua Udazi, to thank him for sparing their lives. This shrine, according to accounts, was known as Oduduwa. Oduduwa. It happened also that Pa Idu happened to have been the custodian of this shrine, Oduduwa. So, to get to this shrine, you had to go through Pa Idu. So, he was then referred to as Ode Oduduwa. Oduduwa. This is the Oduduwa that we, the Edo people, have always known. Pa Idu, of course, was not the only one. After Pa Idu came so many, and they were all referred to as Oduduwa. So Oduduwa for Edo people was never a name, but more like a title. It got to the point where Uhe began to expand, and the sons of Pa Idu, Aka, Efa, and Emehi left, whom I will refer to as the Idu party. They left Uhe to found other kingdoms. So this was the time Ubini was founded on the plains of Ogboka. Ubini was founded. And Eimidu, represented by a staff, what we Edo people know as Ukure, was pegged or brought to found Ubini, which will later become Benin Empire. In time, Ubini began to expand, and we had Ubini Nowa and Ubini Nuria. Ubini Nowa means the different settlements that were together in almost the same geographical location, while Ubini Nuria were those that were a bit far away. Udo was one of those in Ubini Nuria. In time, 31 districts or 31 villages of Ubini Nuria were merged together to form a kingdom, and this kingdom was named Igodomigodo, named after its first monarch, Ogiso Igodo. After Ogiso Igodo, we had 30 more Ogiso, and it happened that the last Ogiso, that is the 31st Ogiso, by the name of Ogiso Owodo, had one son, that is the only heir to the throne of the kingdom, or the throne of the kingdom of Igodomigodo. Something happened, and this heir to the throne by the name of Ekaladerhan was banished. I don't know if banishment is the right word to use. He was supposed to have been unalived, but his life was spared. So he promised those who spared his life that he was never going to return to the kingdom. So he and his party, a group of other people, left the kingdom. And the first place that is recorded that he settled in was Ugoton, which is also known as Ekaladerhan. That is Ekaladerhan village. It is still here in Benin. While at Ugoton, Ekaladerhan ruled as the Noge of Ugoton or Ekaladerhan. Of course, he couldn't have been treated any less. He was a prince, the son of Ogiso Owodo. But after a very long time, at the demise of his mother, he had to take the remains of his mother to his mother's village. So Ekaladerhan left Ugoton for Erua, the village of Ekaladerhan's mother. Also, when he got there, he became the Enoge there too. It was in Erua, Ekaladerhan birthed Omononya, whom the Yoruba people refer to as Oranmiyan. Time passed, and Ekaladerhan, knowing very well that it was not a safe place for him because he was still within the kingdom of Igodomigodo, he left. And on his way, it is recorded that he also made a stop at Igala. It is in the history of the people of Igala. It is in their archive. We happen to have the privilege of, having acquaintance with the official historian to the Ata of Igala. He has confirmed it that in their history, they came across a prince from Igodomigodo by the name of Ekaladerhan. He was given a princely, or should I say, royal welcome. He was given a very good reception. But after a while, that was not his destination. That was not where he was going to. He left Igala again for Uhe. Ekaladerhan finally left Igala to Uhe. He did not go to Ile Ife. Edo people and Edo historians, Ekaladerhan did not go to Ile Ife. Ile Ife was not in existence then. Now, let me quickly clear some discrepancies. Understand that that place, we, the Edo people, know as well, that is around that Niger-Benue confluence, was also known as Ufe and Ife. So that place was known or recognized by three names: Uhe, Ufe, and Ife. But please, not Ile Ife. Please keep this information. I know you might not be satisfied now, but it will help you in understanding all of this. Back here in Igodomigodo, the throne became empty after Ogiso Owodo, and they had to look for Ekaladerhan. A party was sent to Uhe, led by Olia, Odion Olia. And when they got there, because Ekaladerhan had sworn to the people who spared his life that he was never going to come back, he decided not to come back. So the best he could do was to give them his son, that is Omononya, whom the Yoruba people refer to as Oranmiyan. So Oranmiyan came from Uhe or Ufe or Ife, not Ile Ife. He came back to Benin or Igodomigodo. He spent 5 years here according to records, and left here to go and found Oyo. You see, that is why I always say, I see Oyo people as our brothers. Oyo was founded by our own son, Omononya, the son of Ekaladerhan, who was the son of the last Ogiso Owodo. And if you look at it, the greatest empires within, some of the greatest empires within West Africa, Guinea, which is later known as West Africa, you cannot count 5 without counting Benin Empire and Oyo Empire. The blood, the blood is there. Understand that before he left Benin, he knew, I'll use that term, he knew the daughter of Ogiego by the name of Emide, and Emide was pregnant before Omononya left to found Ile Ife. And it was said that when she gave birth, she was going to give birth to a son who was going to become the next monarch of the kingdom. And truly, when it was time, Emide gave birth to a son who became Oba Eweka Nokau, that is Oba Eweka the First. It is very important to understand why Ekaladerhan chose Uhe. Understand that after the party, the Idu party, left Uhe to found Ubini, Uhe was never forgotten. Uhe was never forgotten. Uhe was still seen and perceived as our ancestral home, or as our spiritual home. It is said that the Edo people, the people of Igodomigodo, drew their spiritual strength from Uhe. Why? Because Oduduwa was still there. That is, whoever was in charge of that shrine, Uduwa, was still there. It is this Oduduwa that was also upheld, giving the appellation Ogenenue. Ogenenue. In Edo, the word Ogene means son of God. So it is this Ogenenue that will be later corrupted in some history books as Ogane. Ogane. Please take note. It will help in understanding all of this. So Edo people never forgot Uhe. In short, it is said that Edo people, even up to the time of the Oba, they did go there. They went to Uhe for pilgrimages. They went there for pilgrimages every year. In short, it is recorded that the last Oba who went to Uhe for pilgrimage is Oba Eware Ogidiganokao. That is Oba Eware the first. He was the last Oba who went. In his time, he went himself. So what I'm trying to establish is Uhe, geographically, might have been far from the Edo people, but spiritually it was never far. They had this connection. They saw it as a home, which is why when Ekaladerhan left the kingdom, the only place he felt was safe for him was Uhe. He couldn't have gone elsewhere. He had the best reception at Uwoton, Erua, and even at Igala. He could have decided to stay there, but he was scared that something might still happen to him there. The people of Igodomigodo might still locate him there. The only safe haven for him was Uhe. That is why Ekaladerhan went to Uhe. You will agree with me that unlike the other Europeans who visited West Africa, say Benin Empire, the British were different because they wanted power. They were power hungry. With the other Europeans, we were more business partners. We achieved a lot together. We did a lot together. But the moment the British set in, everything changed. Any monarch or any kingdom who did not want to bow down to them, who did not want to become their slave boy, they saw as threat, and they needed to neutralize this threat. Of course, we know that a lot of monarchs, a lot of kingdoms gave in without putting up a fight. But you remember the Nana of Ishekiri. Don't tell me you've forgotten Jaja of Opobo. And the greatest of them all, of course, Oba of Oranmiyan and Ogiso of the great Benin Empire. You remember what happened to these people? What happened to them and their kingdoms happened because they refused to bow down to the British, who were power hungry. So now, after neutralizing what the British felt or saw as threats, they had to create a sort of monarch or monarchy that would be slave to them, that would be slave boys, yes sir boys. And they found this in a place that they now call Ile Ife. They created a little kingdom. I don't know if I should call it a kingdom or priesthood or priestdom. They created it. And also understand that it was not a creation per se. It was more of duplication. So they created a place known as Ile Ife. And they put someone there by the title of Oni. All right? Now, let me shock you. I had been saying that there was a place by the name of Uhe, which was known to Edo people, and is still known to Edo people. The same Uhe is called Ufe and Ife. So they created another one and named it Ile Ife, like a duplicate of Ife, the real Ife. And guess what? Uhe, Ife, or Ufe, as we speak, is still in existence. It's still in existence, and it is right where I have been describing since. It is within or around that Niger-Benue confluence in today's Kogi state, in a local government area known as Omala local government. In Omala local government, there is a community there. Let me put it that way. There is a community there known as Uhe. It is also known as Ufe. And guess what? What is most shocking and astonishing? They have a ruler there. They have a head, and that head is regarded or called Onu. So you have Onu of Ufe or Ife in today's Kogi state, around the Niger-Benue confluence, the place we, the Edo people, have always known as Uhe. And then right here, very far from there, the British created a duplicate, a photocopy of that. After bringing that one down, of course, they created a duplicate and they named it Ile Ife. And the leader, or the head there, or the priest there, is known as Oni, Onu of Ife, Oni of Ile Ife. You need to understand the reason the British did this. It is simply because they understood very well the link that we had with Uhe, that is the original Ife. They knew. And of course, you know that they have always wanted to destroy our history. So what did they do? After bringing down the original Ife, they created a duplicate and named it Ile Ife, and created the title of Oni that sounds like the original one, and then created a linkage between us and Ile Ife of yesterday, so that the Edo people will not know anything beyond Ile Ife. We will forever think that we actually, or our monarchy, came from Ile Ife as postulated by these people. Even they themselves, they knew that it wasn't going to be an easy task. So what did they do? Even while they were living, they left this job in the hands of their slave boys, as I like to refer to them, starting with your British Nigerian government. And then you had the other slave boys like Ajayi Crowther, Samuel Johnson, to continue in all of this. And in our own time, in most recent times, you see their children everywhere. You see their sponsored children everywhere. You must have met most of them online, on social media platforms, distorting our history, defending the lives of their forefathers, thinking that we are done. That is why they need people like this boy to come out and say whatever he likes without evidence, because people will listen to him. That is why they need a professor like this so-called Professor Susan Preston Blair, to try to convert Ooni of Ife to Ogane, to King of Organa, or even the King of Yufi overnight. This is why all of this is happening. This is why you can never find any historical material that mentions Ife, any historical material that is earlier than 19th century. You find any history book or any historical material at all that mentions Ile Ife, and that material is older than the 19th century. It is not possible. It does not exist. This is why their king list, so to say, as they say, the list of all their Ooni, that is why it is a joke. Now, when you look through their king list, this one is from the website of the Ooni of Ife. From number 1 to number 37, you don't find any date. There is no date in any of them. They just packed up names, forged names, and filled this space. So they want to tell us that the 38th Ooni, whether Akim Oyeru or something, Akim Oyeru does not know when his father became the Ooni of Ife. And this is why their so-called Ife-centric professors have not been able to come out to debunk my claim that Ile Ife was not in existence before the 18th century. No one has been able to come out to defend this. The biggest twist came when the slave boy Samuel Johnson wrote the history of the Yorubas. It was in this historical document that Oduduwa, the word, the term Oduduwa, was ever mentioned. First time it was ever mentioned in the history of the Yoruba. Prior to this book, this History of Yoruba by Samuel Johnson, published in 1921, there was never a mention of the word Oduduwa in Yoruba history. So the Oduduwa that the Edo people had known for centuries, Oduduwa in Uhe, whom we also upheld as Ogene of Uhe, became a Yoruba personage through Samuel Johnson. Samuel Johnson converted our Oduduwa to a Yoruba personage. But the hilarious thing about this is, till today, when you ask Yoruba people who Oduduwa was, they have no answers. If they answer you, they will give you ridiculous answers. They will give you different stories. They don't know who Oduduwa is. Edo people know who Oduduwa is. Ask them the meaning of Oduduwa in Yoruba language. They have no answer. But somehow, Samuel Johnson converted our Oduduwa to a Yoruba personage. It is also in this book that Ile Ife, as spelt here, Ile Ife was first mentioned in history of Yoruba. There was no such thing as Ile Ife. I'm not talking about Ife. A couple of times the word Ife was used, but Ile Ife was never mentioned. So again, in this book, Samuel Johnson converted our Uhe, the Uhe that we had known for centuries. Uhe, Ife or Ufe, converted it to Ile Ife. Just to corroborate that connection, that linkage that the British had drawn between Edo people and the fake Ile Ife. But you know what's astonishing? We actually got some warnings before all of these were done. We got some warnings. So see, 26 years before the history of Yorubas was written, that is in 1895, a Yoruba writer warned us that the present Ife should not be mistaken for the original one. This was 26 years before Samuel Johnson decided to write. Now that is not all. Even way before this Yoruba man wrote this, 64 years before, 64 good years before, an American writer wrote, and I quote, According to one tradition of the Yorubas, their ancestors and in fact the original parents of the whole human race were created at Ife, which still exists in the east of the Yoruba kingdom. They told Landa and have told me that Ife, where men were created, is several months' journey distant, and sometimes they speak of it as standing on the sea. As standing on the sea. You see, this writer, this American writer, is describing the real Ife as accounted. He got this account from Yoruba people. They are saying that the real Ife they know, not this one that's from where he was writing. The real Ife they knew was far away from this very one. And they describe it as if it is standing on the sea. Niger-Benue confluence. Niger-Benue confluence. The one that is still there in today's Kogi state in Omala local government. According to a Portuguese explorer and writer, João Afonso de Aveiro, one of the first set of Portuguese who visited Benin Empire, this is one Portuguese whom these Ife-centric Yorubas love to reference very much. They love to reference him. Why do they love to reference him? It is said that João Afonso de Aveiro recorded that the Onkun of Ugoton, who was the ambassador, the Benin ambassador to Portugal then, told the king of Portugal directly that there existed a kind of suzerain, a kind of spiritual head over the Oba of Benin, or over the whole Benin Empire, that he was powerful. Now, it is said, according to this account, that the seat of this Ogene, of course, you know his name was Ogene, his title was Ogene, the seat of this Ogene laid far east to Benin. I don't know where east to Benin is, so please, we can do just little maths here. Now let's use a compass and see where is to the far east, or where is to the east of Benin. So first of all, before we do that, let's find the locations of Benin, Ile Ife, and Omala local government. Now Ife or Ufe or Uhe is not on the map, but the local government where Uhe or Ife is on the map. So we are going to locate Omala local government on Nigeria map, Ile Ife, and Benin. As you can see here, you see the different dots with indications. So now let's make use of the help of a compass. So please, looking at this, is Ile Ife east to Benin or Uhe, which is in Omala, which is in Kogi state? Which one is east to Benin, please? I leave you to decide that. I will not comment on this. It is right before you. Between Ile Ife and Uhe in Omala local government, the real Ife, which one is east to Benin? My people, if I've ever asked you to share my video, please, this is different. This time, I am begging. Please understand, honestly, of course, for those who know me, this is not about me. It's not because I want to go viral. I want to become popular. I don't need it. This is about the message. We need to let Edo people know the truth. We need to start setting the record straight. Those who are narrating our history, they need to know what the truth is. They need to understand that Ile Ife and the Ooni of Ife are yesterday creations of the British colonial government. And the reason is obvious. It's obvious, to keep us down, to bring our history, to destroy our history, to keep distorting it. And the more we keep narrating our history, bringing Ile Ife in, the more opportunity we give to these Ife-centric elements to distort our history. So please, we need to get this message out to as many Edo or as many historians, those who care to listen, as possible. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I will try my best to compress it within 10 minutes so that it can be duetable. But in case I cannot do that, you have other options. You can repost, and you can even do where to save the video. Use save video, download the video, and post it on your own platform, your own page. Voila, all the pages you have across all social media platforms, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and others, Twitter, please download and repost so that more people will see this, so that we will know what the truth is. And if you observe, you see that the references that I used in this video, I deliberately withheld the title of the books and the names of the author. That was on purpose, and it's simply because, first of all, I am not done with the research, and also because I don't trust this Ife-centric element. I don't trust them. You all know them. All right. So when I am done with my research, I will give you the full names of these books and the authors of these books. I promise. By the way, when I said I'm not done, it doesn't mean I'm not done with the research. I'm actually done. But what is left for me is to visit that Ife, that original Ife. I want to go there myself. I want to go and see for myself. I want to step my feet on that land. I want to see the all-new of Ife or Uhe face to face and have a conversation. That is the only part, that is the only thing I'm here to do. And even if it takes me another 2 years to be able to gather myself and pay a visit to Uhe, I will do that. And when I'm done, you will get a detailed report. There are so many references, so many books. This is just the tip of the iceberg. So for now, please help share this video. Help share this video. For those who can, there are ways you can think they promote videos on TikTok and Facebook now. You have to pay for that, I guess. Walao, for those who have the money and you feel like, please do, so that it will go viral. It will reach more audience. Walao, walao. And for the Ife-centric Yorubas, I'm not done with you yet. We are on this. It's going to be a long time on this. And please, if you are interested in those materials, maybe you are a historian and you are not 100% convinced. If you are interested in those materials, you can contact me directly. It depends on who you are. I will give those materials to you. I promise. I will give those materials to you. So, for now, I will say bye. I hope to see you again very soon. Obedo yagato okbe. Ise.